I've struggled to spend money on myself because it seems counterproductive to my wealth goals. Like every cent I don't spend on investing is money that is not helping me towards that. And I would say that that's pretty embedded in me in the last many years because it's been such a focus. So changing that can be very, very difficult. Can be very, very difficult. I also know people that as soon as they get money, they blow it. Their wiring is, well, I'm just going to have the latest everything at all times and I'm never going to work on my wealth.
Yep.
So knowing that is, I think, a huge component of making sure your wiring is supporting what you actually want for your life long term and not just chasing status if you don't want status.
Yeah.
The second thing I'll say is that I really think there needs to be a point of individuality around this. Like the WRX is not going to mean anything to most people. Like it's a for me thing. So I look at that and go that every business owner I've spoke to, if you really get to know them, has something in them. Like in your case, it's the watches. I know for others, it's like art is a good one as well. Like there's these purchases that they look at which can maybe just seem like emotional or not the same as like investing in shares in property, which is very intentional investing. So I would look at that and really hope people can connect with what's important to them. And the question that I ask myself is, can I really go my whole life without having this? Will I regret never having a WRX? It looks like, in our lifetime, petrol cars are probably going to be phased out. We're going to move to electrics. So in the next 20 years, will it even be possible for me to have a WRX in the same way that is possible today? So a really important point I made is, and I hope every business owner takes from this, is like, what are the ones you're not willing to go without? It doesn't have to be logical. It doesn't even have to be reasonable, but it's like, are you really willing to go your life without that holiday, without that car, without that house? Like what's truly important to you?
Yeah. And it's actually a really good step into sort of one point that I wanted to make, which was whatever you do choose to go and buy or sort of indicate those milestones along the way, keep your investment hat on, not in the sense that potentially the car could double over a period of time, but also in the sense of understanding what you're really buying, right? Like don't go and mark your milestone of, I don't know, buying $1 million worth of property, if that's where you're getting to, and going and getting a loan to go and buy a new Ferrari. All right. The ratio of what you're celebrating to what you're buying is completely out of whack. Now, I don't have any indicators of the exact type of ratio for it, right? But you just need to be the one that evaluates that, right? Because it doesn't need to be crazy. Like the reason I like watches, I have watches that are worth less than $1,000. And it still means the exact same to me as watches that are worth significantly more. Why? Because it was to indicate that point in time.
Totally.
Right? And that's the key message I want to provide to people here. So whether you celebrate every investment property that you get, I'm for it. I'm down with it. No problems at all. But just don't go and over-capitalize on what you're going to celebrate it with. All right. So if you're
completely.
Yeah. So if you're buying $1 million properties and celebrating every $1 million, I don't know, indicate that with something, relative to that. And don't go and load up on debt to go and buy it. It's like, I do know some people who've got some very nice cars on debt, $180,000 cars, perfectly brand new, great car, debt. And you go, okay, well, just be cautious about understanding what pressure that has. And I'm going to use you as an example of this, Charlie. I remember standing in your kitchen before you had made the choice on this car. And you're like, don't understand, Grant. If I look at the money that I would save if I put that money into an offset account, and then if I look at the amount of money it's going to cost me for insurance, petrol, registrations, all of these things over a period of time, my net position is significantly less. How can I justify this as an investment? I'm like, you can't. You just can't.
Good answer.
Like this is not, you have got to this point in life where more is not going to move the needle. You earning a significant amount of money more or delaying this gratification until you're 60 when you can't enjoy it. Like, this is a point where what you're looking at compared to your net wealth, like it's a drop in the ocean. Like these things is like, this is a great celebration vehicle. Like if you came to me saying I'm going to buy a $500,000 Bentley, my response would have been very different. Right. But that's kind of where it comes from, is going, okay, well, it's going to cost you. Yes. But being able to assess it and going, what is this actually going to cost me each week? What, like, I remember when we got to points of you were comparing it to the amount of houses you have to buy to offset the maintenance and the purchase. And it's like, that's a great way to think about it. It's not that it has to be positive. Like, yes, it will probably be a negative. However, you need to win and celebrate along the way, because then you go, this car.
So many good points on that. So just to be really transparent on this, I did pay for the car in cash. Number one, there is no finance on this, and I think for these types of purchases, this is my opinion, obviously not financial advice. If you have to use debt to mark milestones, then probably shouldn't be buying them.
Don't do it. Yeah.
The second one there is like the equivalent to your point is like the equation. I looked at it from here and go, well, how can I look at this in a very, very different way? I think when you can start to make these purchases without it affecting your wealth goals, that's when the timing starts to become more important. So for me in my circumstances, yes, this could have been a deposit for another property.
Yep.
Really could have. But at the same time, he's like, I don't need another property right now to achieve my wealth goals. Like, I've been able to go on this and can see I'm well on track for the things I want to achieve. I've actually achieved a big milestone. Will this defer the rate of growth I could have got? Yes. But is it going to affect my quality of life or ability to hit these things? Not at all. And that was a really big relief for me.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the other things I looked at as well. I think overanalyzing it was a mistake for me. And I think many people will struggle with what I did. I was looking at, well, if I did this with the money, what would I get over 10 years versus buying this and the maintenance and all these things. And then this was actually you again that really had an influence on me here. And I bring this up because I'm sure there's other business owners that have gone through this struggle. It's like, you have a business, just create more. I'm like, you're acting like you're on a fixed income. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, I can totally, like, the value of this car I can create across the next year if I want to. Like, I have that as an opportunity for myself, yet I'm acting like, no, this is all you're going to have. Like, there was a scarcity mindset towards this purchase, even though that mindset doesn't exist for anything I do in investing or business. Like, everything I'm very future focused. I'm happy to play a bigger game. I see the bigger things I can create. But with this one, it was a struggle for some reason.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into being a full stack business owner, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.